Hello everyone. If you're on this presentation, you're wanting to know more information about the catch up on the Richmond Highway projects. This is a presentation that was given to the community on January 15th, 2025. Today's event will include a short presentation on the Richmond Highway Corridor Improvements Project led by the Virginia Department of Transportation, where Dan Reinhard, Project Manager, will speak about, and the Richmond Highway Bus Rapid Transit Project led by the Fairfax County Department of Transportation, led by Vanessa Aguayo, who's the Project Manager. Now I'll turn the presentation over to Dan Reinhard to go over the Richmond Highway Corridor Improvements Project.
Thanks, Vanessa. There are three ongoing, interrelated, and overlapping initiatives on Richmond Highway. The Embark Comprehensive Plan Amendment sets the overall multimodal vision for the corridor. The Richmond Highway Corridor Improvements Project, also called the Widening Project, is a VDOT-administered project that will expand Richmond Highway from 4 to 6 lanes between Jeff Todd Way and Sherwood Hall Lane. This is the last section of 4-lane roadway between Lorton and the Beltway. The Richmond Highway Bus Rapid Transit Project is a county-led project to add median-running bus rapid transit to the corridor. I'm going to focus on the Widening Project, and we'll hand it over to Vanessa with Fairfax County Department of Transportation to provide updates on the Bus Rapid Transit Project. This cross-section represents the Widening Project as it is currently proposed. The project will provide a wide median in the middle to accommodate the Bus Rapid Transit Project, left turn lanes at signalized intersections, 3 through lanes in each direction, and a wide landscape strip for street trees, a bidirectional cycle track on each side of the roadway, a buffer strip for overhead utilities, and a 6-foot sidewalk on each side. We are currently working on incorporating construction of the BRT lanes into the widening construction to minimize overlap between the two projects and expedite the work. The VDOT-administered widening project started as a single project. It was broken into 2 phases, and now we are proposing a 3rd phase. The first phase from Jeff Todd Way to existing Sacramento Drive, the second phase from the existing Sacramento to just north of Fry Road, and the 3rd phase from just north of Fry Road to Sherwood Hall Lane. Splitting of the project allows us to overlap efforts for the different phases instead of following what is otherwise a very linear process. With the different phases, we can complete acquiring the right-of-way in Phase 1A and move into utility relocations, while we are still acquiring right-of-way in Phase 1B and still designing in Phase 2. Phase 1A was selected because of the Doe Creek Bridge. The Doe Creek Bridge is a critical path item, and we want to get that started as soon as possible. Vanessa will discuss the need for the additional phase later on in this presentation. This is the latest project schedule. Phase 1A will be the first phase where work will be visible in the field. We are currently acquiring right-of-way for the roadway construction as well as the utility relocations. Once the right-of-way is acquired, utility relocations will begin. We are anticipating utility relocations will begin in spring of 2026. Once utility relocations begin, we will move into roadway construction as soon as possible. Phases 1B and Phase 2A Phase 2 will follow the same general steps, with the roadway construction beginning in mid-2028 for Phase 1B and mid-2029 for Phase 2. The design process is ongoing for all 3 phases of the project. We are continuing to coordinate with the community through various avenues such as MVCCA, the Chamber of Commerce, Project Newsletter, and this excellent event put on by Fairfax County Department of Transportation. Utility coordination is complete on Phase 1A and 1B, with utility relocations to begin in mid-26. We are wrapping up utility coordination on Phase 2, with utility relocations scheduled to begin in late 26. The utility relocation start dates will be dependent on acquiring the necessary right-of-way and easements for the relocations. The current construction estimate is $464 million, and the project is currently fully funded. The right-of-way process is currently underway in Phase 1A and 1B. Partial acquisitions offers are being prepared and made to property owners. The acquisitions are being prioritized based on a number of factors, including utility relocations, but we are generally starting in the south and working north. Phase 2 partial acquisitions are anticipated to be authorized in spring of 2025. I would ask anyone who will be impacted by an acquisition to please contact VDOT for information rather than considering information from other sources. Property acquisitions are unique for every property owner and tenant based on their current circumstances. You shouldn't assume that what happens on one parcel will happen for another. I've included links at the bottom of this slide for a booklet on VDOT's right-of-way process in both Spanish and English. I want to touch briefly on total property acquisitions because they are very visible to those living and working in the corridor. We have completed full acquisitions for the entire VDOT widening project between Jeff Todd Way and Sherwood Hall Lane. Vacant buildings are being removed as quickly as we can to minimize nuisance activities. Buildings on 9 properties have been demolished. 3 properties are currently vacant and we are working their way through the demolition process. 4 properties with tenants are anticipated to be demolished by the end of 2025 as those tenants vacate the properties. And now I'm going to hand it over to Vanessa to discuss the Bus Rapid Transit project.
Thanks, Dan. And now let's talk about the Richmond Highway Bus Rapid Transit project. As I mentioned, my name is Vanessa Aguayo, and I'm in the Capital Projects section of the Fairfax County Department of Transportation, and I'll be going through the project updates. Start with going through a little bit of the project background. First, let's start with what is Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT? It's a high-quality public transportation system that's designed to be fast, reliable, and more convenient than what you would think in your traditional bus routes. It operates much like a rail service on dedicated transitway, but it has the flexibility, and we do this at a lower cost by using bus vehicles. Let's look at some of these elements. A service plan that prioritizes frequent and efficient service. We will be running in dedicated bus lanes with transit signal priority. We have special buses that are improved for design and passenger comfort with the unique branding. You can see one of these examples on the upper right-hand corner of the page. We will have upgraded bus stops that have features that enhance bus rider comfort and convenience. And lastly, we're integrating information technology systems with features like real bus time tracking. The Richmond Highway BRT project is an effort not only to plan and design, but construct the BRT system that goes from Huntington Metro Rail Station to Fort Belvoir. Look at the map to your right. This is specifically where the system will run. It includes 9 proposed BRT stations, and it has 2 sections. Section 1 in the yellow is from Huntington Metro Rail Station to Hybel Valley Station, and Section 2 in the blue is from Hybel Valley to Fort Belvoir Station. Let's take a closer look to some of the station area elements. In the graphic to your right, you can see what do we mean when we say dedicated bus lanes. These are lanes that are running through the center of Richmond Highway. And the dot number 5 is where you can see near-level boarding platforms and stations with high visibility crosswalks all around the intersection. If you want more information or to see a project video, you can find a QR code to the right. Now let's talk about the project status. We'd like to start with entry into engineering. The FCDOT, as we mentioned, is seeking a capital investment grant, or CIG, from the Federal Transit Administration. After many years of hard work, in June 2024, the project received approval to enter the next phase, which is known as the engineering phase of the CIG program. When we complete the process, the project will be eligible to receive up to $347 million, or 37%, from the CIG program. We'd also like to talk about schedule adjustments. Several project adjustments have led to schedule extensions for Section 1 and Section 2 of the project. Let's take a closer look at what some of those mean. In Section 1 for the BRT project, we've had design modification, utility changes, some FTA right-of-way appraisal and administrative settlements, utility format and review process, and MOT revisions have led to these adjustments. In Section 2, for the Corridor Improvements Project, which is led by VDOT, we've had some design modifications and approvals. We've had an evaluation of design changes, and some of you may remember this effort, which is tied to the turn lane analysis, utility revisions, plan changes. We've had to do an environmental reevaluation and a reevaluation for maintaining access during construction. So what do all these schedule adjustments mean? It resulted in a 36-month delay in the VDOT project, which meant an overall schedule delay for BRT. The VDOT project team has looked and will be phasing their project into 3 parts. To mitigate delay, the county and the VDOT staff have agreed that VDOT will be building the BRT transitway for Section 2. The mitigation will save 16 months. The new revised BRT revenue service date will be fall of 2033. Both project teams will look for opportunities to continue to reduce the project schedule. We've discussed a lot of schedule adjustments, so let's look at the project timeline as of January 2025. You can see we are here in early 2025, almost complete with our final design. In the middle of utility design and relocation, towards the end of our right-of-way, we will see construction for the Widening project in early 2029 and for the BRT project sometime in mid-2028. Once again, overall, we hope to open BRT revenue service for fall of 2033. As I've mentioned, we are in the middle of our right-of-way acquisition. Right-of-way acquisition and demolition of surplus buildings is underway and will continue through 2026. We are following all legal requirements for right-of-way acquisitions, which are outlined in the box on the left. To learn more about the process or discuss specific property potential impacts related to right-of-way, please contact FCDOT. We have various ways of doing so, and those can be found on the right-hand corner. Let's talk about right-of-way status. As of today, we have 37 total acquisitions completed. Vacant buildings are being removed as soon as possible to minimize nuisance activities. Buildings have been demolished on 9 properties, and 7 properties are currently vacant and in process of demolition. 21 additional properties with tenants are anticipated to be demolished by the end of 2025. Next ongoing effort is Community Charm, which is artwork at stations. Artwork has been developed with community residents and we have finished the selection process for 4 of the stations. Artwork is being completed for the remaining 5 stations. Our public involvement process at the remaining stations will include a public survey and meetings, with a final action being taken at the BRT Executive Committee meeting. Draft artwork for the remaining stations is expected to be complete sometime in spring of 2025. Just to note, what are the artwork for the pending stations? Those can be found on the lower left-hand corner. Huntington Metro Station, Kings Crossing, Beacon Hill, Gum Springs, and the Highland Center. The artwork you see on the page is that has been selected for the windscreen design at the Lockheed Station. So the 1-year look ahead for the project includes getting to 100% roadway and transitway design that is for later this year. Agreements with VDOT are anticipated in the fall of 2025. And as we mentioned, the community charm engagement will continue in spring of 2025. All of that while we continue with right-of-way acquisition, maintenance facility design, utility relocation, and our remaining third-party agreements. More information on any of the projects that we've discussed today, please note the QR code found in the upper right-hand corner of this page. By shooting your camera, you will be taken to a landing page for the 3 project websites: Richmond Highway Corridor Improvements Project, the Richmond Highway BRT Project, and the Embark Richmond Highway, which is our comprehensive plan, and more information on the Richmond Highway Commercial Revitalization Districts. Thank you all.